within a.
Oh, did we just lose Adam?
Oh
Uh-oh.
no!
Adam, if you can hear us, maybe just to get out of the call and come back in. Um, I guess Vinny, you got to carry this now, man.
I just want you to know though, that frozen picture of Adam gets me rock solid. So, look at that mustache.
Oh, Adam's back. All right, here we go.
Dude.
Welcome to the 175th episode of the Casa Ends Creation. I'm your host, Chris Deering. This is the show where I interview bands and public figures from the Mathcore adjacent community. If you enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, do all things social. Every little bit helps. If you want to join us every Sunday and Wednesday for the live cast, you can interact with the guests and such in real time, or just hang out in the chat. You can also subscribe to this channel for just $5 to get access to the interviews before they hit YouTube and other streaming platforms, as well as get some exclusive emotes. You can also do that for free by attaching your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. It's like taking $5 from Jeff Bezos' pocket and putting it into mine. Recently got a pre-order up for merch for the Sound That Ends Creations new EP, Unicorn Laser Bubblegum City. There's new shirt design. We got windbreakers. We got joggers. We got vinyl over at the soundthatendskreation.bandcamp.com. Y'all should check that out. With that out of the way, let me introduce our guest today who dropped their first album in 17 years, The Loser, back in May through Dog Night Productions. Welcome in Gospel. How's it going, guys?
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Hell yeah, thank you for coming on, for real. You want to start by telling us who you are, what you do in the band?
So I'm Adam. I play guitar in the band and yell poorly, and that's what I do.
I'm Vinny. I play drums, and I have a double chin.
Alrighty. So Rate Your Music says that you guys formed in 2003. Is that about right?
I think so.
Jesus Christ, that's a long time.
I believe whatever is said.
So like 20 years ago. That's fucking crazy. How'd you guys come together?
So we have a mutual friend named Matt who I was friends with, who ended up forming Helen of Troy with Vinny and Sean. And then at some point I was asked to join the band. I went on tour with them. We did that for about a year, and everybody's lives were kind of going in different directions. And Sean and Vinny and I kind of just went on, just the three of us, because we were the ones kind of like left standing. So Vinny might have a better version of events, but that's kind of the short version.
Got a more extended version, Vinny, or?
I think when we were all playing in Helen of Troy, it kind of slowed to a crawl. Me, Adam, and Sean wanted to just start writing, different shit. The other guys, like Adam said, had a lot of shit going on in their lives. So they didn't have much more time for writing like we did. So all we did was write. And then finally the band kind of dissolved, and me, Adam, and Sean just started something new.
Something new is an understatement. Like the sound that y'all are doing was pretty like groundbreaking. Like how did y'all even think to do the music that you made? Like where are you pulling influences from in the beginning?
I think it kind of happened just kind of organically. I think because of the scene we were in and the type of music we were playing, like it was inherently kind of like really, aggressive and fast. And a lot of us just, we were pulling on a lot of all of our influences from when we were a lot younger, whether it be, like prog rock or classic rock, or like 90s, grunge and rock stuff. And I think that we were just trying to do something like that was different than what other bands were doing, without like being too apart from what was natural to us. What would you say, Vinny?
I don't know. I think when we were playing in Helen, it was kind of like we were stuck to a certain formula. I think. Would you agree with him on that? you know. So when we started playing just the three of us, it was more free, I guess. Like we didn't really give a fuck whether, you know, it went with whatever scene we were in at the time. Like it was more just for us. Like, so we just play whatever. It was a lot more fun. You know what I mean? Did it, you know, I don't know. I thought it was more out of just, we played what we played out of, you know, being bored with what we were doing at the time. And it just turned into that, you know, but three guys with crazy ADD. And that's the only way I can really put it, you know? So.
Don Skirch in chat says, is Vinny shitting?
I was. But not anymore. No. I like to share everything with our fans.
Oh yeah. Very intimate band, famously. So y'all were talking about just like kind of doing whatever, like no rules or whatever. But like I feel like this had to have come from somewhere, right? Like y'all listen to a lot of like The Locust, I guess. I could see an Albatross being like a big influence, like, or is it like it purely is just like what I guess by your face, you never listen to any of that stuff. That's crazy to me.
I mean, I like that The Locust was great. I mean, I think, you know, like there was the like the scene that I came out of was probably more of like a mid to late 90s in terms of like the underground music that I was really, really into. And then the reference points kind of stopped around like 2001 or something like that. And then I kind of just became like a dope smoking like college dropout and listening to, you know, like indie rock and krautrock and prog rock and really eclectic stuff. And so I think like gospel was kind of born out of the fact that we were like we were in a scene where we were playing like hardcore music, but like all of our interests and like tastes and the shit that we were like hyped to was like a bit different. And so it's kind of like forcing it through that lens, you know, forcing those two things into kind of like what we were doing, which is also why we didn't really last very long, because we didn't really have a lot of like, you know, it was like that point in our lives where we were kind of like getting out of the scene. And so we were kind of like playing like all the weird, you know, all the other influences, like were really kind of creeping into the music as opposed to like playing, just stuff that was more, you know, being into influences that were a bit more prevalent. Like we had contemporaries, we had a lot of friends that we were into. There's like a lot of bands that like I love, and I think the Locusts are like incredible. But it's not like, I don't think we ever tried to set out to like sound like the Locusts or anything like that.
Well, like you said, you were kind of like there and then gone after a couple of years. I did the split with Odin Armada, which is actually the first time I've ever heard of the band. I didn't even know there was a band that existed. But then you did The Moon is a Dead World in 2005, and then y'all just stopped. So what was it? Was it just like adult stuff had to take precedent, or what? Why did y'all end up?
Well, we went on for about like a year and a half, somewhere around there, and we did a bunch of touring, and we went on tour with Converge, but
that's fucking.
We kind of just fell apart because we didn't have our shit together. We weren't like really emotionally mature enough to spend that amount of time together. It also wasn't like we weren't making any money, and even when we went on like the Converge tour and like we were making like a decent amount like a night, which at the time was like, you know, like $250 maybe or something, or
dang, I would have thought it'd been more with Converge. That's
it might have even been like 500 or something like that at the time. But like, you know, that went into like all of our travel and everything. We didn't have like
you didn't have like really take home pay or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't think, and audiences didn't really understand us. We were playing for like a much larger audience, but like they were like weirdly like ostracized by like what we were doing, you know. And it was a package tour with some really good bands. It was like Modern Life is War and Some Girls, and you know, we were kind of like the shaggy haired like opener that like, you know, we didn't really have any breakdowns or anything per se.
It's funny. I feel like y'all, like, I mean, as you can tell by like y'all's comeback or whatever, y'all probably do like way better today than y'all would have been back then in that scene, because of just how like weird shit's gotten in music lately.
Oh yeah. People are way more hip
nowadays, I think.
Right.
So weird.
So first little bit of you guys coming back was reissuing The Moon is a Dead World in 2019. So what made y'all want to like come back? Like what drove you to want to reissue the vinyl, or maybe it's just even issue? Was it the first time it was on vinyl, or?
No, the first time Level Plan initially released it on vinyl
Okay.
way back in 2005, but it was the first time since then that it had been reissued. And Chris and Seth, who do Repeater, also had done the City of Caterpillar record. And I'm fuzzy on the timeline. Vinny might be better at remembering the time, but essentially, Gospel had broken up. We had gotten back together briefly in 2010. Got broken up again, and then
Y'all did get back together.
Up.
Then I saw that y'all started a Facebook in 2009. And then y'all were making posts up to 2010, and then you stopped. So I was wondering what the deal is with that. But I guess y'all were trying to come back?
No, so actually what had happened in that case, in that instance, was, we had started playing together again, and we hadn't really made any plans, but then a really good friend of ours, Matt, a different Matt than Helena Troy Matt, got sick, and we had, there was a series of benefit shows for him. And so we had already kind of started to like get the ball rolling to playing, but that was kind of like the thing that sparked us getting back together during that period. And then we actually recorded during that period with Colin Marston. We recorded 3 songs, and we only released one of them because we didn't quite finish the other 2. But then we didn't do anything for a long time. And I had moved away for about 5 years to do a bunch of to go to school and do a bunch of things. And then I ended up moving back in 2018, oddly enough, at the same time that the other Matt from Helena Troy was getting married. And we were at the wedding, and it was actually Vinny's pop who kind of was like, you guys really should get back together. And we're, 3 out of 4 of us were there. And so we decided that, we were going to do it. And it just coincided with me moving back to New York. So it just kind of worked out that starting in the second half of 2018, we just started playing again. And then we recorded, when did we record, Vinny? In 2020?
Oh,
I guess so. 2020 or 2021. I can't remember now. We finally recorded the album, but it took us about 2 years of kind of getting the material together again, and then writing new stuff. And then
it was weird. We'd go a month of playing every week, and then we'll take a month off, and then play for a week, and then take a month off. Didn't rush anything, which was nice. Playing again was fucking great,
Yeah, it was great. And by a week, it's like a few hours. We just meet one day a week, on the week. We wouldn't play a week straight. Yeah. So it's even though we're all in New York, we still meet maybe once or twice a month, to do everything.
So y'all weren't taking it seriously at all then? Y'all were just seeing this as a fun side thing.
I mean, we were, it's not something. It's something that comes so natural that writing and being focused.
Well, I guess what I mean is you didn't see this as a career path or whatever. This is still a thing on the side for you.
I mean, to be realistic, I think we want to take it as far as it can go. But I mean, we all have a lot of stuff going on, and we'd love to do this full time, but we take it as seriously as we have the bandwidth to do it. I think Sean's got 3 kids, Vinny's got 2 kids, John's got a bunch of stuff going on with his life and career. I garden and then I sleep. So we all absolutely love this, and our hearts are 100% in it. And we wanted to tour, but the reality is how much money does a mathcore band guy make a year?
Right.
We're a bunch of us are in union. A bunch of us are in unions. Some of us are we're kind of the man now. So the fiscally smart thing to do would be to keep your day job. We're taking it seriously. I mean, we're serious as fuck, you know.
Oh yeah, man. So Don Skirch in chat says, "Yo, Vinny fucks." Guess he likes your. Vinny, do you have anything to add between like when the band like broke up early and then like came back together and stuff? What's your story for that time period?
Well, Adam brought it, said it pretty right, but I remember Adam was right about the wedding and whatever. I remember the thing that got us real real stoked was when Repeater Records talked to Adam about reissuing The Moon Is a Dead World. And I remember that got us all like really, really fucking amped, and even at that point, we weren't like talking about playing together. Like we hadn't, like me and Sean see each other all the time because me and him are brother-in-laws. Me and Sean hadn't seen John and Adam for a very long time. I think, it had to have been at least 7 years, right, Adam?
At least.
So when we started talking, it was amazing. It felt fucking great, just the friendship, part was really important to us, especially me and Sean, definitely to me, I thought it was great. And then when we were talking about the reissue, then we like slowly by little was like, yeah, you want to go jam? You know what I mean? Like, you want to see whatever, and we went and played and it was just wonderful. I thought it was fucking great. And then from then on, we were just like, fuck it, let's start playing. And little by little, it just got more and more serious. And we weren't really expecting to get the amount of feedback we got when we got back together. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about you, Adam. Like, I wasn't expecting it to, for a band. I think our second to last show back in the day, we played for like 10 kids in a fucking living room. And
it is wild how much like how crazy people are going for you guys. I was actually telling Adam before, it's almost like whenever like an artist like dies and they get all the like recognition and shit, so it's almost like because your career died before, now people are like, oh, gospel's so awesome, man. Whereas if you just kept on going, wouldn't have gotten the recognition. But so this year you dropped two things. You dropped MVD. Hold on, I'm gonna say the whole name here. MVDM, The Magical Volumes, Volume 1, The Magic Volume of Dark Matter, or The Magic Volume of Dark Matter. And then you also dropped The Loser. So, which one was done first, like in like the order that y'all were doing things?
So we recorded them all in the same session with Kurt.
Gotcha.
So the recording is all from the same period, but
okay, well, because MVDM we all had started like a long time ago. Let's talk about that one to get that out of the way. So I saw on your Bandcamp that y'all have been working on this since like 2005, right? So like, what's the story behind this? Why how much like how much of the stuff that you had to do for it to finish it done like now as opposed to when y'all were working on it?
The song that we recorded was that was as far as we got in 2005, 2006.
Oh, so MVDM, y'all didn't work on it at all. That's like from way back then.
No, I mean we worked on it to like get it back down, and like we revamped some parts. Like some parts are kind of like, new and improved. Like the keyboard parts are a bit different. Obviously there's vocals, but largely the song is exactly how we played it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, at least the structure of the song is exactly the same.
The way that I was reading y'all's explanation on Bandcamp was that y'all had to like complete it, and that y'all like, completed it like this year.
No, completing it just by like recording it and putting it to tape and saying it's done.
Interesting.
And because it's like, how do you go back and like keep writing a song that you started writing?
That's what I was gonna ask. Yeah, that was
later. Just the fact that we could kind of get through it and kind of just get it really tight and just improve some of like our own kind of personal performances on parts, was a lot.
Well, so let me ask then, like, why not release that a long time ago? Why is that like just now happening, or like back whenever y'all first got together and started jamming again, or whatever? Like back in 2019, y'all could have like just dropped this then. Why did you wait until this year when you're also doing an album?
Well, it's always fun to work on new stuff, and I think that our initial intention was to kind of start working on that first, and then the rest of the album kind of came about. And I think it was sort of the same thing in 2009, 2010, where we just started focusing on newer stuff. And like, so the intention this time was always to get it done, but we knew we had more stuff in us. So, and just logistically for all of us to make all of our schedules work to get up to Massachusetts to record with Kurt, which was something we knew we wanted to do. That's kind of why.
Got people in the chat talking about writing The Loser. So we'll go with Holly's question. How long did it take? How long did writing The Loser actually take?
Vinny?
Oh, well, there was a couple songs we had written back in 2010. And that was the 3 that Adam was talking about earlier that we recorded, but only one song was finished. The other 2 weren't really complete, So we redid those and then started working on new stuff, when we got back together in 2019. It really didn't take long, what I mean? But it seemed like it might have taken long because, like I said, we were only playing like once a week if we were lucky, sometimes once a month, what I mean? Because like I said, that, around like holiday times, we have kids and stuff, so it's hard to get together. So like we play in November, like say 2 practices, and then we wouldn't have a practice till like mid-January. You know what I mean? So like, if you think of it that way, I think it only took us like maybe, like I guess like if you were to practice every week for like a couple of months, I'd say like 6 months maybe took us to write it.
To write the whole thing or just one song?
The whole thing.
Yeah, the whole
That's
thing.
really fast, actually. 6 months. I thought it would take way longer than that, especially judging by like, how often y'all actually got together.
Well, our thing is like it's scheduling is what's the hardest thing with us. You know what I mean? And not for a lack of trying. We try to get together as much as possible, but we all, like Adam said, we all work. We all got kids. And if we had the time to practice all the time, and whatever, you'd have a lot more shit. It's just only could do is so much for what time's given.
Right.
But I think everything that we did, like even going back, even being able to schedule enough time to go and record at God City again, which was our fucking dream. We didn't think it was even possible. Right, Adam? I think at one point we didn't think we would be even able to do it, schedule it. Just being able to do that was fucking incredible. You know what I mean? And, I don't know. That's pretty much it. I guess that answer that proper, you think, Adro?
No, that was great.
Yeah, I think definitely.
Don Skirch in chat says, do y'all write out parts or just jam? I think he's talking about whenever y'all first get to writing. Do y'all like just get in a room and like start seeing what sticks to the wall, or do y'all come in with something like a little more concrete?
I think it depends. I think for the most part, we kind of just see what sticks to the wall. This last time around, there were a few songs where like John and I would create a demo in Ableton or something and then bring it in to Vinny and Sean. But a lot of it also kind of just happens from us, because a lot of the riffs had been kicking around just from things we would just kind of jam on and practice here and there, but would never put any structure to. So, it all kind of like it comes together. I even try to, when I go back and look at it, like I can't quite like remember how songs were written or recorded and sometimes who wrote what, because it all happens like pretty organically when we're together.
How would y'all describe the difference between The Moon is a Dead World and The Loser? What would you say is like the big defining characteristics that separate them?
Well, I think with the Moon we were a little more angrier.
Okay.
I think with the Loser we're a little bit more manic and on quite a lot more medications.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the new stuff is like a bit more like like we're more realized as a band. Like the first album was largely written by like just me, Sean, and Vinny, and like the parts are really kind of frantic and really dense because we were writing like as a 3-piece, and John kind of just like came in and like elevated everything by like playing over it, but it has like a different character because of that, and like the new stuff is more of like the four of us like playing together, and it's also like the themes are more, I think, fluid. Like
It's more
like
cohesive.
the Moon's kind of all over the place. Like there's like an instrumental track and a fast track and a slow track, and this is. And the vocals, like I'm not even saying anything half of the time. Like it's like the old adage: you just scream and then write the lyrics like later.
Right.
Like there's a lot of that on that record, whereas this is like much more. Everything's kind of more plotted out, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, man. Like, I feel like y'all even pushed it like a little further with like in terms of like experimentation and like expanding like what the sound could be. Like how would you even describe your music, honestly? Like, what's the label you put on your music? I figured I would stump you guys with this one.
I usually say we're unlistenable, or
If
I'm
you
like,
had to
yeah.
pick a genre, what genre would it be?
Psychedelic scrams.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, we just got reposted on a from a new metal Twitter, so I think
Really?
we're new metal. Yeah,
That's
we're new metal.
crazy.
We got plans to go on the road with Orgy. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. I'm try to breathe some positivity back into new metal.
But yeah, one of the things I really enjoyed about your music is you have like fun moments and like bright moments as opposed to like all these hardcore bands are trying to be like dark and like heavy and brutal and all this stuff. And you guys are even like a lot of noise rock bands are also like really dark and stuff. And you guys have a lot of fun parts to your music. And it's obvious that the music has changed a lot since before. So what are like your current influences going into this? There's got to be like something that you could point to be like, oh, I listen to a lot of that.
Adam?
There's got to be something. There has to be something.
I listen to like a lot of different stuff, like a whole lots of different things.
Tell me some of them.
I'm like one of those nerds. Like I like a little bit of everything.
Okay.
And I think just to your first part of your question, I think because the type of music we play, it's like really easy to it's just so ridiculous. Like I don't know how you could take like half of these bands seriously, like all their like sadness and anger and toxic, whatever they're throwing out there. It's kind of ridiculous. So I mean, I don't know. I never thought like I would cite Frank Zappa as an influence or anything. Like he's corny as fuck, but like
it's dope as shit.
At least kind of there's not as
Peaches and regalia. Fuck yeah, bro.
That's kind of but I don't think that's like necessarily like an influence. It's just more like the music lends itself to like such kind of like heavy themes, and like the stuff we're singing about is heavy. So I think it's better to, I don't know. It's fun to be a little funky, I guess. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Vinny?
I say everything we do is based on Yanni live at the Acropolis.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. That's all right.
Yeah. Greek god that he be. Greek god.
So some of the lyrics are kind of hard for me to follow. I'm probably just too stupid. But like some of them, like "Warm Bed" definitely seems to be like about like a deadbeat dad coming home. Maybe is what I was getting out of it. What's the main idea behind the lyrics? Just like in general for the album, what's like the overall point you're trying to get across?
Um, I don't know if I could sum it up in any real specific way, but yeah, you kind of touched on all those themes. It's a lot of it is about, I think, like the music is very, hardcore music is like very like masculine in a way that's very, um, like like you're just posturing and like, or it's like these just weird like just displays of like masculinity. So it's kind of like investigating, just like, yeah, kind of all those elements of like kind of toxic masculinity that are like clearly like rampant, everywhere, including like in the scene and stuff like that. And like, and then there's nothing very specific, but it's just all very, a lot of it's just like also self-referential, like getting old, being like becoming like an old man and dealing with kind of age and and a lot of it's just kind of taken from like life and themes that are like around and stuff, and like notions of kind of just being like irredeemable, or like questions of redemption, if they like should even apply. I don't know. So there's nothing very like specific, but it felt like, like if the character like from Moon is a Dead World, like, who's just like this kind of drug addled like 26-year-old, is now like a 42-year-old, and like what dealing with like the consequences and that, and like weird themes, and like there's not, like I said, it's nothing very specific, trying to like leave it open to like the
Sure.
listener to kind of take on whatever, but like thinking of like, and trying not to be like overly pretentious or anything, but I was really influenced by like Berlin by Lou Reed, or Watertown by like Frank Sinatra, where it's like there's like this central like male character who's like on this like arc, and they're not necessarily like it's sometimes they're an empathetic character, but other times like they're not, and then there's a lot of stuff about like kind of drug addiction and things that kind of are hit close to home and stuff like that. Not that I'm a, but things like that. So
It seems to be like a lot darker than what the music would lead you to believe.
yeah, it's like I kind of wanted it to be like actually like a musical. Like it's kind of like I snuck it in after the fact. I kind of dropped it on the guys, like, well, what if this is just kind of like, it's like it's because it is. It's kind of like just I imagine like people dancing, like, and there's like scenes where like there's choreographed dancing, like, and stuff like that, telling the story of like this piece of shit. But
That would be fucking cool. We were talking before this. I realized I didn't see any music videos from you, and then I was thinking I probably just missed them. But you were telling me that you guys didn't do any music videos. Like, that's a sick idea for a music video. You could have done. Do you have any plans, like maybe do some music videos or anything?
yeah, I think we will eventually. Like I said, we have some really talented friends. It's just a matter, like Vinny said, like scheduling is really hard, and but I'm sure there will be something. I made a Shrek video. It's like a shitty 3D Shrek on loop. I might
What?
release that as a
I
music
did
video.
not see that. Okay. Oh,
No,
yeah,
no, I
oh, you
haven't
haven't
released
put
it.
it out. Okay.
It's
Okay.
unreleased. It's unreleased.
You should definitely release that.
Yeah.
So you guys recorded this with Kurt Ballou, Zach Weeks, and Steve Johnson. Not familiar with Steve Johnson, but the other two are very big names. And then mastered by Magnus Lindberg. What was it like working with these guys?
Well, Steve, first off, is our like tight buddy from way back when. That's actually we practice at his studio, and so Steve assisted. We actually had to redo a bunch of the tracks on the recording due to like a technical flub, and Steve assisted with the tracking on that. So that's why he's kind of got the credit on that. And Vinny, do you want to talk a little bit about Kurt and Zach?
I don't know. I thought, I don't know. I remember the first time we went and recorded with him, we were all super fucking nervous. You know what I mean? At least I think I know I was. Were you, Adam?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
I
I
would
was-
be like 100%. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I remember we went there and like, fuck, man, we gotta, it's great that he's recording us, but it's fucking Kurt Ballou. What is he gonna think? He's gonna think we suck. Blah blah. And he was the funnest fucking dude ever, man. I thought he was really nice. And when we saw him again after like 17 years of not seeing him, like we haven't seen Kurt since 2006, since I think the tour, right, Adam?
Yeah, no, we hadn't seen him since then.
Yeah, and honestly, when we went there, it was like we just saw him last week. It was like
Yeah, totally. It totally made us feel like it felt like we knew him. We felt like no time had gone by.
very sarcastic man in a good way. You know what I mean? So like he made you feel real comfortable. So
He's very dry. He's very dry and like calm, and like when he's joking and when he's like being serious, it's all very like it's very zen in a weird.
So did he? I know he likes to record like with the whole band playing all at once. I kind of feel like that's not the case with y'all, just judging by the way things sound. So how did y'all actually record things?
No, we tracked everything together, but the amps were direct, and then we went back and punched the keys. But we thought we were going to do everything live and amp everything,
Right.
but we ended up playing everything live. But guitar tracks were direct, and then the key parts of the keys we went back and like touched, and then there's like doubles and stuff like that. But what you're hearing largely is tracked live: the bass, the drums, and the guitars and partial keys. And then the keys and the guitars were everything was reamped and then kind of mixed together.
So yeah, besides Steve, you also got Zach credits. What did he do exactly? Because he's the guy that did the Ultra Pop and shit like that, right? So was he like mixing and stuff?
So he's another producer and engineer that works at God City with Kurt, and so he was kind of like Kurt's like assistant engineer.
Okay.
He helped process some tracks, like get clicking out of like different things, and then just did like a lot of like.
Gotcha. He did a lot of the grunt
essentially
work
like
and stuff.
Yeah, like kind of co-engineered it like with Kurt.
Okay, I gotcha. This is the first album in 17 years. Kind of a big deal. So let's just rip off a piece of cardboard and scribble our name on it and the name of the album.
Yeah, totally. Let's do it. Right on. I'm down.
So we got the artwork up on screen now. Why did you do this?
I mean, why wouldn't we do that?
I guess, but it's like, so you spend like all the time like going with like Kurt Ballou and like bringing the band back and stuff like that, and then I don't know, what is it? Just like a piece of cardboard like put on a refrigerator? Is that what that is in the background, or?
No, it's on a wall. It's on a wall in John's apartment. I think it's actually it's on like a picture hook, I think, and that's why it's conveniently lit by the overhead ceiling lamp.
Oh, so it's even cheaper to make. Okay.
No, it was very, there was intent. It was very, very purposeful. We had a few different ideas for the album cover. There was actually like, we were like flirting with like some 7-Eleven imagery and some dumb shit, but there was this photo that I really liked that I had found like just like on Wikipedia or some bullshit of a 7-Eleven like at night with this guy like kind of as the central figure entering it, and he just like to me it felt like that was like the album cover, but we couldn't like make that work. And then there was like a few, I didn't want to have, there's such a tendency to have like overly illustrative things like in music, and I think that's cool, like I don't think it's necessarily us. And our last record has a beautifully illustrated cover by our friend Alec, but we knew we wanted to keep it like kind of like a square in the center. And John had the idea, kind of like at the last minute, based off of like Robert Rauschenberg or something like that, series of prints that he had done that were just like collages of just like torn up crap. And so we kind of just toyed around with that idea, and literally like John tore, there's probably like 30 or 40 different pieces of cardboard until we found like the piece of cardboard that like spoke to him and I. And then I literally, and then after that, like we had a bunch of pieces of cardboard. It wasn't just one. And then I had we had a dollar store marker, and I was just like, I had to like write it out really quick, and I had to do it like in a thing. And then we finally just like had one, and we were like, all right, this is it. So believe it or not, we were actually, there was more than one torn up piece of cardboard.
Did y'all have like different techniques for ripping the cardboard just right and shit, or like?
John's the artist, like John's the visual artist and the designer in the group. I mean, I make show flyers, but he's the visual artist in the group. So I just let him, he knew how to tear it up. Like he knew what he wanted. He knew the edges and like the perforations, where the fold had to be. But it was very animalistic, like in the spirit of like, all that terrible, angry, all that terrible art of like frustrated men. They just tear it up cardboard, and we wanted it to kind of feel like a cursed object, or like a cast away piece of junk or something, or like a sign somebody would be holding up or something. So to me it felt bleak, and it felt like it matched the tone of the record. Yeah. So that's
interesting.
I like that people kind of hate it. So it means it's good.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but I do a flyer for all these like shows that I do and shit, and like I definitely chose the MVDM art instead of this one, because I thought that was a little more artsy or whatever. That one is a lot more artsy though. Like you have the mimes and stuff on it. Like your actual logo and shit. I imagine that was done around the same time as this one. So why is that one so much like prettier looking? I guess is a good way to put it than this one.
Because God made it that way. So that one is really fucking weird. So going back to the writing of Magic Volume in the studio and having this like 20 something minute song, I never actually had any lyrics ever written for the song, and I wrote them basically like in the studio, like just before we recorded the song, and I was high out of my mind, and I wrote these lyrics that made no sense. They really just rhymed, and they're the lyrics that are on the record. And I say something about an 8-arm pantomime. And I was just like, fuck it, that's weird. Like, nobody's going to know what the hell that shit means. Like, I will just leave that in there. And then after it was the tape, I was like, literally Googling. I just Googled like 8-arm pantomime. And I found that image on Getty Images. And it's a photograph by a guy that's like passed away now named David Sachs. And it was on Getty, and you could just buy it for like, $500 and like make an album cover out of it. So, and I was like, look, this is fucking crazy. I like just thought of it said 8-arm pantomime, and here's this beautiful photograph of, these stupid fucking mimes. Like, and I was like, that's just unsettling. And John in the band hated it so much, like he almost quit the band. It's like the only real creative difference we've ever had was that image made him feel like really, really uncomfortable. And that was kind of how I knew it was like, it had to be it. Cause it was like, it's a very like unsettling image. It's very beautiful. I'm glad that you think it's beautiful, but it's also very unsettling.
No, I feel like it fits y'all perfectly. Like, somewhat unsettling, but also like, I don't know. I guess happy also is like kind of something I get out of it. I don't know.
It's
artsy
great, yeah.
and shit. Like, I don't know. I feel like it fits.
It's very whimsical.
There you go. Whimsical. That's a good way to put it. You guys are back. Are y'all playing more? Are you going to be playing shows more consistently moving forward, or is this just kind of fill it out?
We'll play for anybody that hires us, within reason, within a
Oh, did we just lose Adam?
Oh
Uh-oh.
no!
Adam, if you can hear us, maybe just to get out of the call and come back in. I guess Vinny, you got to carry this now, man.
I just want you to know though, that frozen picture of Adam gets me rock solid. So, look at that mustache.
Oh, Adam's back. All right, here we go.
Dude.
Oh, you lost me.
We did. Did you hear us talk or?
I was just droning on. I thought I was answering your question.
No, like
No
right
idea.
after I asked you the question, you basically froze. So any plans for like touring and stuff or?
Yeah, I mean, we'd love to. We don't currently have anything in the works, but if we can make it work, we'd definitely love to do some touring, especially like overseas and in Europe and other places like that. Hopefully next year. Like we had a bunch of things. You know, obviously it's hard for anybody to tour, but yeah, we'd like to do some more things. So we're definitely doing local shows. We got a show coming up in November with Seisha, another really old band that hasn't played in a very long time.
Right, I saw the flyer. It was like what they hadn't played for 8. I don't want to say the day because I'm gonna say the number wrong, but yeah, you guys are both haven't played in a while.
Yeah, 23 years, I think.
23 years,
like
okay.
Yeah.
And there was something about like you guys owing somebody money or them owing you money or something.
That's a joke. That's a joke because the old drummer of that band used to run the label that we were on. So pretty sure when we broke up, like one of us owed somebody money, but that was kind of the par for the course back then. I think everybody owed everybody small amounts of money. Hardcore small claims court would have been packed, would have been filled to the brim.
Holly in the chat says The Loser is definitely my album of the year. I live on the West Coast, but I need to see this live. Do you have any plans to do a 1-year anniversary show in May? You should go out to the West Coast in May, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Invite us. Shoot us an email. We'll come out.
She wants you to play her basement. She actually does have like a little venue thing set up in her basement.
It's not the first time we've played a basement in like San Jose or Sacramento or something like that. Wherever you are, Bakersfield. I don't give a fuck. We'll go out.
Thank you for the 7 inches, darling.
So y'all released this through Dog Nights Productions. I have to say I don't think I've ever heard of them before. So how did y'all hook up with them? And yeah, how's it been?
I never heard of them either. I saw their name and I thought their name was pretty cool. And
you decided to release them because
I wrote them an email. That's basically it. I saw their name. I think I was kind of just when we started playing again. I was like, oh fuck! I guess I got to figure out what the hell is going on and what bands are doing. What shit's going on? I guess I have to listen to things, and I would kind of like bop around and check out different bands. And I somehow came across like a review for the Infant Island that like it's like a Godzilla Screamo themed band. That's pretty good. And I saw that the title was Dog Nights for the label, and I was like, well, that's a pretty funny name. And so I literally just like wrote them as a long shot. We had written some other labels, and nobody kind of got back to us. Or we'd get like polite responses like, oh, thanks, but we're busy and stuff like that. So
your music's weird as fuck, we're gonna move on.
Oh yeah, basically. Yeah, nobody gave us the time of day. We're like, but you're putting out all these other old Screamo bands, you're interested in us? And like no, we're not. So we linked up with Dog Nights, and they're a label based out of the EU, UK and EU, respectively. And they had really good kind of like international reach. All their records seemed to be like a labor of love. I liked that. Again, going back to like imagery, like bands taking themselves too seriously. I like that like most of the bands on the roster like had that nothing really seemed pretentious about any of them. Like they all kind of seemed like they were just doing what they like wanted to be doing. And so that's kind of what attracted us to them. And then when I wrote them, Darren and Menon, they were awesome. And so from that, we've had like a really great relationship. And yeah, so couldn't ask for a better relationship.
Yeah. So are y'all getting hooked up with like a touring agent or anything, or are y'all trying to do this all DIY right now?
I mean, we've written some booking agents and stuff, but again, we're a bit too weird, you know, and
I
like,
guess. I mean, y'all sold out at your first show back, right? That's
oh
fucking
yeah, we
dope.
like we're good at, we're all good in Brooklyn, man. You know, we'll you know we do all right out here between like our friends and just the fact that there's a lot of people out here and stuff. Um, but you know, most of the places like that we've written, you know, with like pitches or whatever, like I don't know. I don't understand how to navigate music industry these days. Like it was much easier when there was a scene and we were like a part of things. Like now the fact that we're kind of like, you know, it's, you really have to be active and out there and doing the grind. And there's so many people doing the grind that like it's hard to like be like, hey, you know, we want to like, you know, do opportunities that are just only really good for us and like stuff like that. So it's kind
Right,
of
right. And, like I could just imagine the pitch. Like we're a band we've been playing like 15 years, and like we're kind of this weird mix of prog rock and post hardcore. Like you know, take a
yeah,
chance on us. Like I can see
yeah.
that being kind of weird. I'm sure now you're like kind of starting to turn.
Yeah. I mean, what we're really proud about is the fact that, like, you know, as whatever notoriety and things that we've done, it's kind of just been on its own merit, and that it's just that the music has kind of spoke for itself, and that we haven't had a lot of marketing behind us at all, or any videos or anything that pushes it, and so that's great because it kind of keeps it, you know, like kind of pure and underground. But at the same time, you know, it would be nice to have a booking agent. It would be nice to like, you know, have that type of support. So, you
Right.
know, you know,
So you guys played these kind of shows. What's the best show you guys have played?
Mm.
I'd say Charleston, South Carolina, in a small house in the summertime. It's like hot as fuck, and there's probably like 75 people in like a living room. Uh, there's a video of it somewhere, but that was that was really fun. And then probably one of the more recent ones, like the last few at maybe like two shows ago at St. Vitus, was a really good one. Can't quite remember, but
Oh, so y'all
those are
have done
my,
the comeback shows? Like y'all have like already started playing shows again?
yeah, we've played. I mean, we're kind of like St. Vitus house band, right, Vinny?
Okay. Oh,
Maybe not. We've played St. Vitus four times since 2018. We did one show, and I don't know. Vinny, remind me. I can't remember shit.
Yeah, we've only played 4 shows together when we got back. Our original reunion show. And then we've played 3 times since. You know, I
really?
mean,
I didn't think y'all even played any like the comeback shows yet. That's fucking sick. Then.
yeah, no, we
No.
got, you know, we want to play as much shows as possible. Just whether it's, whether we can do it or not is the thing. You know, I mean, we play every day if we fucking good. You know, I mean, we play shows every day. You know, we go on the road for fucking 4 months, but it's just fucking impossible. You know, also kind of hard to do. You know, I don't know. What do you think, Adam? Am I right or what?
Yeah, I'm just laughing because you're on the toilet. So it's just like, if you can only get off this goddamn toilet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I think we definitely have like a tour or two in us. You know, I don't know how, you know.
Definitely Europe. Definitely Europe. That's that we want to do. It's just when we can do
Right.
it. That's definitely, to me, I think that's probably the next, like, next on the list, hopefully,
I think if y'all try to do a tour in the U.S., like even just DIY, it'd be so easy for y'all to book it. I think. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are really psyched that you guys are back.
Yeah. And that's kind of like the point that we're at. It's like we realize if we actually want to do it, we'll have to book it ourselves, which is it's not impossible. But it's not something that we, you know, want to do. I mean, I say, you know, I write emails all day for work, so I don't, you know, doing it for being in a band like is easy, but it's just it's a drag, you know.
I got
it's
you.
so time consuming too. Like I remember back in the day, that's how every tour we ever did, Adam and Sean would be constantly emailing people, and this is back like, way back then. So like that was when we had time, and even then it was time consuming. So I can only imagine how much time it would take now to actually like, put forth the effort to, book it ourselves. And we definitely just ain't got the time for that. It's just impossible. Hence why it'd be nice to have a booking agent. So if anyone's watching,
Are there any booking agents watching? Any?
Yeah.
Any out there right now?
Don Skirch in chat says, hit up Sunflower for his show, Dear God. So Sunflower would love to play a show with you guys. So, like, I think the area would be, like, upstate New York. Stuff like that. So, you ever wanted to travel around? So, Vinny, what's your best show that you played so far?
There's a couple that's, like, my favorite, I guess. The 2 times we played Gilman Street in California, that was real fun. I thought,
Just had a lot of people show up, or what? Why was it fun?
Yeah, it was not only that, but it was the bands that were involved. It was, I remember the one I liked the most was Us, Race Band, and Funeral Diner, Comadre.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
And it was actually we were actually playing Magic Volume on the road at that point.
Yeah. And Gilman's such like a legendary venue too. It's like, like we had always like heard about, you hear about these places on the West Coast, from New York, from like Maximum Rock and Roll, or like the liner notes of like a Green Day CD or some shit. So like, but being at Gilman, it was definitely like, it felt like we made it like as a punk band, like we're playing Gilman Street.
Fucking sick. And it turned out to be a good shows then too. That's fucking awesome.
Oh, they were sick. Yeah, they were sick.
That's fucking awesome.
That, and I think North Carolina with Converge would be my second one. You know which one I'm talking about, Adam?
I don't remember any of that shit. It was all one long show.
Yeah, no, there was one show we had.
Was that the one at the bar? We played like it was like a bar, like a stage behind a bar.
Yes.
Like in the back.
Yeah,
that was good.
15 minutes earlier just so we could play Magic Volume.
Yeah.
You play what?
Well, we only got like a 20-minute slot, right? I think for that tour. Yeah. And with us, that's like, 5 songs. You know what I mean?
If
so
even.
Like,
if that, yeah.
If that. So we had to beg them and be like, listen, if we start the show 15 minutes early because we're the opener, can we play a little longer tonight? And they were like, yeah, sure. But I don't think they were expecting us to play a 20-minute prog jam, So, but it was so much fun. That show was so much fucking fun, man. We got a little bit of it on recorded, but not that song. But it was a great show. Really good show.
That's tight. So what are the worst shows that y'all played? Not necessarily like technical issues or whatever, although that's cool too, but like, just in general.
I think Adam would agree with me on this one, with the one with John's parents coming. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, in Asheville?
Asheville, yeah.
I didn't think that was so bad.
That was freaking horrible. We had a show booked, and it was us and this band Ultra Dolphins, and we went.
Dolphins.
So it was supposed to.
Ultra Dolphins is sick.
Yeah, they're fucking sick, dude. Fucking. But we get to this. It's supposed to be a house show. It's like in a garage, in like the back of this house. But this fucking guy forgot about it and like didn't promote it, so no one knew the show was happening, right? So it was this one dude that forgot the show was even going on. Us, the band we were touring with, and John's parents, who came just to watch him play. And it was fucking embarrassing. It was just embarrassing, So I think that was up there with one of the ones where we're like, we should probably just go home right now. And stop this shit, What do you think, Adam? What's your worst one, Adam? What do you think?
Oh, there's so many bad ones. No, but I'm just kidding. I I don't remember most of them, but there was one where uh, uh, it was South by Southwest, and we agreed to like play like a late night party. And it was like supposed to be some real cool industry thing, and it was like, and everybody was like coked out of their minds, and like we got there, and like we weren't going to go on until like 3 or 4 a.m., and it was just like nobody gave a fuck. Like it was just, and it wasn't in a good way, and it wasn't like people we wanted to party with. It was just like, and it was at 2006, so it was like kind of at the point where like underground music was really becoming like the corporate music scene. So like people are just like, just, you know, like the scene just went from like the scene being like, you know, cool people on the level and shit, and then all of a sudden just like all these people like just like industry garbage, you know. So it felt like really just kind of skeevy and gross, and like nobody gave a shit about like, you know, it was just like we just had no place being there. So that's one where it was like the vibes were just real off, you know. Yeah, so that's what I'll nominate. South by Southwest, fucking 2005 or 6, whatever that year.
That sucks, man. Because bands I've heard that have played like shows in South by Southwest talk about how like fun and like.
Our daytime shows were great.
Yeah.
We played in the daytime with like Genghis Khan and Akimbo. We had like great shit going on during the day, and like Austin's always had some good shit going on. But this was like, you know, with South by Southwest, there's just so many shows, and it was like, this was at the time that like, yeah, like the underground scene was really kind of starting to just become like, you know,
Sumerian Records and.
Oh yeah, but not even just like yes, that stuff, but like there was like, especially because like we have a lot of friends from like New York and stuff, so there was like, you know, don't fly too close to the sun because it fucking smells like shit. I don't know what I'm about.
I love that. That's awesome. Dude, those are like great lyrics or a song title or something. That's really good. I have to write it down. I'm writing it down. Don't fly too close to the sun.
Yeah, you can have you can have that.
So I guess we could close this out with your current album of the year.
Vinny, you listen to way more current stuff.
Well, I'm definitely going with City of Caterpillar because it's just fucking retardedly good.
Dude, that's one that I really need to look at. People have been telling me to check that out.
So goddamn good. It's fucking ridiculous. Adam, you go next.
I like Beyonce's Renaissance, and I like the reissue of Watertown by Frank Sinatra.
Nice.
Okay, that's dope. I didn't know that like they were reissuing Frank Sinatra music. That's crazy.
It's actually kind of sucks because the old remaster sounded better. They just like remastered it, and it's like a little.
Oh, so they're just trying to milk it out a little bit more.
Really good.
Yeah, I guess like I think they probably put it out on vinyl. I think it's people are getting hip to it now.
Okay.
Old Blue Eyes.
Well, let's see here. So for merch, you guys got shirts over at shirtkiller.com/collections/gospel. You got like what 6 designs, something like that over there?
Oh, we got so many designs, more coming out all the time. The next one probably will drop in a month or two. I don't know. Ryan, hit us up. But yeah, shirtkiller.com. And we have our second press is available through Dog Nights, and there will be a special edition dropping that will just be like store and distro exclusive stuff. So look for that.
And that's over at dognightsproductions.com.
Dognightsproductions.com. And we'll have a limited release going through limited to 1. And look out for 3D animated Shrek video for it's on Off the Loser coming out soon.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Anything else that you guys want to say before we head out?
Vinny?
I I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know either. Yeah, just we don't know.
Alrighty.
We don't know. Well, no, thank you. Thank you so much for having us, Chris.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun, man. Thank you for having us.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, gamers. They're all gamers, right? All your fans, all your.
I wouldn't necessarily say they're gamers, but
Does anyone else still play Final Fantasy VII? Is that still a thing?
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
I'm looking for dubs for Fortnite, and if you want to do dubs with me, zero build only. Find me.
Don Scourge says gospel gamers forever.
Fuck yeah.
So if you're looking for some of the most beautiful and original stuff you'll hear all year, you have to check out The Loser, the new album from Gospel, which dropped back in May through Dog Nights Productions. You guys are on Facebook, Bandcamp, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and all streaming platforms. Are y'all hip to TikTok yet? Do you have a TikTok?
Yes.
Do you really? I feel like you're lying to me.
No, we do.
That's fucking sick. Okay.
Yeah, hit us up at TikTok.
All right.
We do.
Yeah.
Even Vinny didn't know.
We do.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
As for me, drop my channel follow so you always know when I go live. You can also get access to the interviews before they hit YouTube and streaming platforms, as well as get some exclusive emotes. You can also sub for free by attaching Amazon Prime account. Find me on Facebook. YouTube folks, if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like, click the notification bell. Don't forget to subscribe. It's a great way to support me for free. Check out my music, The Sound That Ends Creation, at soundcreation.bandcamp.com. You can also check out the merch that's up for pre-order. Again, we got jackets, joggers, there's a shirt, got some vinyl. My next guest is Ken Mode. Join us this Sunday the 16th at 7 p.m. Central for a live interview on Twitch. Hell yeah, man. It's going to be fucking awesome. But yeah, thanks for being here, guys. Hope you had a good time.
Definitely, man. Thank you for having us, brother.
Thanks, Chris.
Oh yeah, and thank you guys for watching and listening.
We